Here at Chonilla.com, we like to cuss. And if you don't want your kids to hear it, then listen to us when they're not around. But if you don't mind your kids listening to grown folks talk, then turn this shit up and let the show begin.
You're listening to
Chonilla.
Chonilla.
Chonilla. Chonilla.
I guess in general, Canada is not much of a heckling thing, except I guess in Vancouver it can sometimes happen.
Okay.
But in New York and LA, I think it's way more. But in general, the heckling trend is going down. I think social media has made it like this, stigmatized it to such a huge level. There's been so many public things where comms are like, you do not.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I think we're seeing that phasing downward. I don't know if it'll ever go away, but it's moving down.
I don't want to be the guy that's on YouTube getting shit on by a comic.
Yeah. You don't want to be on the other side of Daniel Tosh's rage. Yeah.
Exactly. What do you think about the well, I don't know if it's a stigma or idea where they keep saying, women are not funny or they're not as funny. What's your thoughts on that? I mean,
I don't know. It does come up. I think it's way better now than it was even just 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
There are women out there that make people laugh now, but I'll still get that compliment like, oh, most women are funny, but I like you. And that it's just like, oh, so it's like, well, then how can you say women aren't funny if you like me?
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't have a sex
Ridiculous.
change. Yeah. But no, yeah, it's still an issue, I guess. And it's one of those things where as a woman, I just got to ignore it. And there's times where I felt like, oh, am I being passed over because I am a woman, or are guys just subconsciously not seeing me as funny or whatever?
Right.
And it's like, I can't spend my time trying to convince them. I just got to get out there and be good, and that's the only. And even if I had to be twice as good as anybody else, just to get it's like, fine, okay, that's the goal I had to go for. I'll do that.
Uh-huh.
So you can't spend your time worrying about it. We prove that women are funny by going out there and being funny.
Yeah, men always have this weird kind of like when there's introduction of women, like you see it all through time. You know what I mean? Like golf, even like like, oh, women can't golf, and now
Right,
it's
anything.
that's completely bullshit. But it's the same thing. Like in any group, it winds up being like this boys' club, like firefighters. Yeah, women can't be firefighters. No,
Right.
that's complete bullshit.
Right.
There's a lot of
they're
women
doing it.
firefighters.
Or that
yeah.
Danica Patrick, the race car driver.
Right.
Oh,
She's amazing.
yes,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
Good for
yeah.
her.
It's fantastic.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're gonna hold on to? Women aren't funny, really?
Yeah.
What are some women comics that you find?
Oh,
Admire.
well,
Very
one of my favorite comics ever, is, Deanne Smith, who lives here in Montreal now.
Okay.
She's amazing. If you have a chance to see her during Just for Laughs or any of her shows, she's fantastic.
Cool.
Check her out.
Yeah, and, Maria Bamford, I don't know if you guys know her. She's based out of Los Angeles, coincidentally from my mom's hometown in Duluth, Minnesota,
Yeah.
but she's fantastic. There's, I find Ellen is hysterical. There's so many that I can't even name them all. It's just the idea that someone would still say women don't make me fun. Right? It's like, well, okay, maybe not that style, but there's got to be some like,
Maybe you need to get out more.
yeah,
Maybe you need to get access to the internet.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
get out of your mother's basement.
Get out of
Stop
mine.
eating Cheetos off your belly.
Right.
Okay? Stop it.
And what's the Montreal scene like? I was asking you how many's out here. You said
It's
about 80.
okay. There seems to be a boom in general in North America, and I think I came in during the Montreal boom. Like a lot of us kind of started at the same time, and you'll see some go. You can only get so far here in Montreal in English comedy before you had to move. So we've seen people move to London. We've seen one recently move to Sydney. Deanne's moving to Toronto. Comic recently moved to Los Angeles. So that happens. So you reach that ceiling. Or more, you become a road comic and use Montreal as your hometown, or your base city. But, it's hard because there's a lot of us out there. And when there's more people out there, then the ratio isn't higher, but there's you're going to see more bad comedy as well.
Okay.
So I think it goes through the process where it becomes cool, and then the audiences stop going out because they see a lot of bad, and so it contracts, I think it's going, through
Right.
that. So I think
Right.
we've seen a boom, and I'm wondering if we'll start seeing a contraction where the comics aren't doing well,
Okay.
start dropping out, and then maybe audience will start coming back again.
Yeah.
Because now it's getting kind of spread thin. You've got the 2 big clubs downtown,
Yes.
but then there's a lot of indie rooms now.
Gotcha.
And, I've done some rooms recently where like nobody showed up, and it's fine because we just do a workshop and we have a good time. But,
Right.
But that's a sign that maybe there's too many rooms now. We'll see.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you've had like a show where nobody showed up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what do you do? Like you said,
We workshop it. I do. That's when I pull out all my new material and just like, hey, let's see what we got here.
Let's get some muscle memory and on stage.
Yeah, just let's pull out, and you're just at that point you're just performing for comics, so that you're going to get a different response than you would just a general audience. But just to
When it's really funny, they'll just look at you and go, "That was funny.
That's pretty good.
That was
yeah, they don't actually laugh.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was, I liked your set. It
Yeah,
was,
that was
funny.
good.
Yeah.
It was funny. Yeah, no, it is funny. You see comics people who are like scouts,
Yeah.
and or comics have been doing it for a while,
Yeah.
and it's no longer they've lost the
magic's
laugh
gone.
instinct.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, they get the nod, and that was funny. You're very good. Yeah.
I almost felt my diaphragm, react to that one. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, having the comedy festival here is cool.
Yes.
Because we get to like see some amazing talent come through.
Yes.
But it feels like once the festival's gone, like it just all the audiences forget, like, oh, get to go to comedy next year. Like they just like they cross that off their list for the year, and then so the idea we're trying to get people back into comedy when it outside of the month of July is kind of a goal of mine.
Right.
What's the on? I guess during your set, there's other comics that are going up as well for that night. What's the worst bombing you've seen live?
I've had some pretty bad ones early on. Like when I first started, I did this one set, and the problem with that set was that the first joke depended on it being my first time on stage.
Okay.
So at the point, like I was on a third or fourth time, I couldn't really do that joke anymore.
Right.
And I was kind of getting bored already with that material. Like I felt the need, like, oh, okay, that stuff's working.
Yes.
Let me start working on something new.
Okay.
And so like I felt like I needed to write something brand new almost like every time.
Right.
Which was crazy. And then I also am very political, and I like one of my comic idols is Bill Hicks or any of these great.
Bill Hicks is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not like following the comedy scene. Like you're as close as a window into comedy that I've been talking to.
Yeah.
And but Bill Hicks, yeah, for sure. He's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, or, Carlin, like there's these guys, and so it's like I would love to do political humor, and so like I just tried, like I got up there and did like all these rants, but not even rants, but they tried to do these jokes that were political in nature, and it just is horrible.
Well, it's Quebec, right? You can't.
Even that. No, it wouldn't have worked, because that is, at least for me, is such a. Especially because I'm so passionate about it, it's hard for me to find the funny in a lot of these issues. So
You just wind up yelling at the end of your set.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's so
You guys.
depressing. Yeah. So there's that in it. So the really good ones can take a depressing issue and still make you laugh about it.
Right.
And I'm so far, certainly back then and even now, so far from that. Slowly, I'm starting to get a feel for what my voice is and how I could work some of that in and make it funny. But even now, I'm still like, okay, it will come. I'm pretty sure it's going to come. It's just, I can't force it like I tried to. And so those are pretty rough. But, I don't know. There's open mic. The whole point of open mics is to try new stuff. And so, you're going to see a lot of bombing, and it's always horrible. But again, what I learned from these podcasts and comics talking about the early days is that's how you get better. You have to.
You just have to keep at it.
Yeah.
Push through it, yeah.
Push through. Yeah.
The ones they didn't bomb, like Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle, like they were really good early on.
I remember, yeah.
Both of them have told stories of where they were good, but then they got a little cocky.
Yes.
And then, so they went through their bombing period, but later, like they'd been doing it for a year, doing good, and then they had to have like a month of bombing, and so it comes one way or the other.
It has to be balanced. It has to be balanced.
I don't know. I mean, it's just, there seems to be, that bombing forces you to grow up in one way or the other, either emotionally or as a better writer or a better performer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Puts you in check and
keeps it real.
Keeps it funny. Is there anything, from stand-up comedy that you're hoping to get into, or, like either acting or your own TV show or something like that? Or
yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it. No. Yeah, obviously. I mean, because moving to Toronto or LA or New York is an option for me, with being a mom and having my kids so solidly here, and yeah, I mean, ideally, I don't want to hit that ceiling and have not something else to go to.
Right.
But if that's all it happens. And I can't become a road comic either. I can't become someone who's on the road for 40 weeks out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if I get good enough to actually reach a higher level where I would need to make a move and I can't, then I know, I'm just happy with that I've done it and that I'm doing something I never thought I could. I'm literally like, you'd asked about like what made me do it. I mean, being a comedy nerd, wanting to be in the scene in one way or another. I thought maybe it'd be more on the business side, but I just really wanted to be part of that world. Like, working for Just for Laughs as the company would have been like a dream job for me.
Right.
And I never occurred to me that I would actually be on the stage until Facebook and getting feedback from people and then listening to these podcasts. Like, oh, maybe I should just try that and see where it takes me. So just having done that and in my life, I feel like, most people never get that far. So.
Right.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to finally find something you're passionate about.
Finding it and doing it, and then also discovering you're good at it. I often wonder, like, because they say, like, find your passion and then go with it. But what if your passion is something that you're not really good at? Is it possible, or maybe you're only passionate about things that you're good at? I don't know. I'm lucky that, because I see people out there who I really love it, they like to do it, but I don't find them very good, and audiences aren't really responding. And I think that's rough. I'm glad that.
As comedians, do you give each other feedback like that? Do you, like, when they get off stage, do you say, maybe you should look for another career?
No. I wish we were more honest with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you like, if
someone comes, my rule of thumb is rarely do I volunteer.
Right.
If someone comes to me, I'm going to be honest.
Yes.
Right.
But I'm not going to go like, dude, what's going on?
We were all sitting back here and.
Yeah, I could smell it from back here. It's such a, some people are doing it for different reasons. Maybe they don't, maybe they're doing it just for fun and it's to get out of the house and they're not looking to take it to the next level. And so, that, I don't want to judge. If someone's looking for feedback, that's fine. And I'm always looking for feedback from people I respect. So if I don't respect someone, I don't want their feedback.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to go up to someone and just offer it. That's not cool. So, but I'm always looking to do it. And my husband's actually developed a tool to actually measuring. It's a limited tool. It's only measuring laughs, but it's based on on something we saw in a comedy documentary where this guy measures laughs and he says at the professional level is a 30. So like a third of any minute, the audience is responding with laughter generally.
Wow. Wait a second. This sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it was in a document, like I Am Comedian might be the document.
Maybe, yeah,
and they talked about it. And so the next day, my husband he just has a little index card and he writes down all the comics' names. And he marks what time they start, what time they end, and then throughout the whole thing, he just stops and starts on his iPhone. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then he'll do the calculations, and so like I was coming in at like a 30 on most of my sets, which is great, but my goal was to get up to 35. Like I want to be a 35. So it's kind of cool to have like this measurable thing. So comic will come off like, I did really good. And I can like, well, I looked at your card. So it's a little more quantitative rather than just like an opinion thing.
Right.
And so, cause I was kind of worried, like, am I getting too ahead of myself here? Like I felt like I had a good set, but maybe not. And did it actually have numbers? And again, it's a limited tool. It's only measuring laughs. It doesn't measure how strong the laughs are. It doesn't measure how, rambunctious or, there's only, it's limited, but it works in some ways and it gives me something to measure for. So like one of my problems is as you can tell, I kind of ramble and some of my setups are a little long. Okay. And so my average is getting really pushed down because I'd have a few extra words here or I'd get off track on my setup. And so I'm taking more time to get to the punchline. Yeah. But now that I have this tool, like, does this look like, okay, and now I can analyze each joke. And I should have done it anyway. This tool isn't made it possible. It just made me realize, like, if I can just cut out 3 seconds here, seconds there, I can go from a 29 to a 32, right. And So that's what, like, for the last few weeks I've been working on. And last night I did a set. I did 10 minutes and I hit 38. Like,
Nice.
whoa. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. Like,
Wow.
your
Yeah.
husband
So my
should
husband,
put
yeah,
that-
he's like a sociologist, statistician type. So like, it's like his little dream. He's like this little nerd with his phone and he's like measuring this stuff and it's so cool. Like, yeah.
I could say, I want him over and
Yeah.
just like, just find
He's
different,
like at the track.
like, does he do that often? Like, let's find a statistic on this. And
Yeah,
you know.
he knows, he's so smart. Like, and he knows so much about a lot of different things. Like, we've considered doing a podcast where I'll just be like the ditzy funny girl and he'll be like, no, well, actually, if you do like that
awesome.
dynamic, but you know, that and 1,000 other ideas on the list, on the to-do list.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially like if we're a little like drunk or whatever, it's just kind of funny. I often wish we'd like record these conversations just so I could go back and listen to them.
I think Chonilla money making scheme like 289
Oh yeah,
or
this
something
was,
like that.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's true because when we finally
It's just one
did
that
it,
stuck a little bit.
one of our friends, Adrian, who was on the show, and he's like, "Man, it's nice to finally see one of your ideas come
Actually
to
happen. Yeah.
Because we do talk a lot about like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if this, or oh man, we should do this.
I have all
or,
these cool app ideas that have just never happened.
We got these business ideas that end a lot in ...
Yeah.
Just kinda
Yes.
let it go. Yeah.
Or like I'm gonna make this awesome video for YouTube and
Yeah. I'm gonna make something viral
yeah.
tomorrow.
That's not my children.
I know, right? Do you watch a lot of YouTube? Like, are you, as much as
Stand up on YouTube, it's hard.
You
Like
stay
it's
away.
not. Well, I mean, I have a couple videos out there, but it's just never the same. Like live comedy is so much better than what you can see on the screen.
right?
All right, and so just being in the room makes a big difference. So that doesn't. But YouTube as a format you can do so many other things like editing like little vignettes of life or like
Yes.
that's different thing. But this idea like put your stand up on YouTube and it's gonna go viral, that's really hard because it doesn't convey in the same way as it being live.
Yeah, because I think Dane Cook did that. I mean, he had but those were like shows that he did where he had like a couple thousand people in the audience, and then he released that online, and then that went kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I think he was kind of a pioneer to the online.
Yeah. Well,
viral comedy
who was
thing.
the
Like MySpace.
Canadian Indian comic?
Russell
Peters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
His interview with Mark Maron, I didn't even realize it, but he was just kind of a road comic here in Canada. He was okay, but that one clip of him
That's
went
what
viral
catapulted.
around the world. He didn't even, and suddenly he's like getting booked in these giant rooms. It was like that was the big switch for him. So,
Wow.
but this was
Wow.
years ago. This was before people were making like he had YouTube channels or making content specific for YouTube. I think now that may not have happened, but he hit, and he's hitting a much more global audience. So the YouTube is as a way of getting something all around the world rather than just being on TV in certain markets. So that was huge for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Russell Peters, proud to be Canadian.
Shout out. He's in LA now. Yeah,
he?
Yes, he is.
Doing well in LA.
You went where the money is. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
so weird because he's like a legend. He's so great. Everyone knows him, but now he's doing work in LA and trying to break into acting and just getting like little bit roles. It's
I
like
know.
you're
I know.
yeah, and it's just like for me, it's like this guy is a monster on stage. Like he
Yes.
just commands that stage, and he's playing a role as a waiter. Like that does not make any sense.
Yeah, can I
think I seen him
take
in
your
the-
car
as a-
keys, please?
Yeah, I think I see him
Yeah,
as
as
a
a
valet.
valet.
Yeah.
I was like, no,
You're better than this, Russell Peters.
Yeah. But because he's
Stand
not
up for your
known in the
brand.
States, like he can't come. I don't know. He needs a better agent. So
Yeah.
I don't know because it just seems so weird to me. Like that, it's such a.
This exposure that he's doing, I don't think it's the right way. Like I think the exposure that
He's
he's
not-
getting in small bit parts, like I think he's got to aim for a little bit more. Maybe do
Or
some comedy shows.
write his own, like
Yeah.
write his own
Right.
project, or
Hey, little one.
Let's take a break, guys.
Yes. If you want to get the latest podcasts or blog posts on Twitter, start following at chonilla.com. That's DOT.com.
Oh, hey, don't forget to call us if you want to leave us a message at 1-888-882-2887.
I always love David Letterman when what's his name? The exercise.
Paul Schaefer?
No, the
No.
exercise guy.
Richard Simmons.
oh,
When
Wow.
those two were together,
Yes.
At first, I thought, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
David, what an asshole!"
That guy's kind of a genius. Yeah.
I'd forgotten about those. I should see those on YouTube. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
They were the best.
They are good.
And then to
Yeah.
come to find out that they were very good friends, and they would just,
Richard's
just go with
Ripping
it.
on each
the
other. Yeah.
best.
It was great.
Oh, he really he's a trailblazer for being in that day and age, like in the 80s, to be that flamboyant in that way. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now
Owning it like that.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
I mean, as kids, we would just giggle, and I knew at some level like that was maybe different or whatever. But like he just, like you said, he just went out there and he didn't try to hide it or anything. He just went out there and like the shorts and the hair. I mean,
yeah, that was like, oh gosh,
socks.
this dude is different. It's true. I remember seeing him as a kid. Boy George was another one too. It's like, there's you're like, there's something about this guy.
Yeah.
And they didn't really talk about it either, which
No.
is kind of
They
cool. Like, cause now like we make it's like we didn't talk about it then, and now we kind of had to like make a big deal about it. And hopefully someday it's just be that's who he is, and that's a guy. Like we don't it doesn't matter, sexual orientation, race, gender. It doesn't matter. That there's other more important things to talk about.
I think it's getting there too, and I felt it when Anderson Cooper came out. Where it was like,
I was kind of a yawn.
Yeah, it was like, okay,
yeah.
Tell me the news, Anderson.
Right. Did he actually come on a show? I didn't even know that. It was.
I can't remember if it was a show or if it was an article, but it was very like nonchalant. Like it just felt a little, I'm gay, and it felt like the world responded like, okay.
We kind of all knew.
Yeah, it's only really a surprise when they're like
like if Ryan Gosling came out, I'd be like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But he might be, what do we know?
Right.
The interesting one was Jodie Foster recently. Like she just came out and like, I had big news.
In her
I'm
weird,
single. It was such a weird way, but it was
eccentric way. Yeah.
and I'm 50.
It's true. Yeah, Jodie Foster too. It was like, yeah, but girl, we knew that when you did that movie Taxi
I
Driver.
didn't know. I
Really?
didn't know. No,
Oh,
I had no idea.
When she was a kid, I felt like she looked very butchy to me.
It was
I
a
didn't
surprise
know.
for me, but
With
when she
Jodie
said,
Foster?
yeah, it was a surprise, but it was
Really?
more like that surprise that was like, yeah,
That makes
okay,
sense. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Now that I think, okay.
Yeah. That fits into my worldview. Yeah.
So one of the things we do on the show is a top 10. We'll do a countdown list, and this time we have top 10 reason why ex-party girls make great mommies.
All right.
So number 1.
Now, who wrote these?
This is via top10s.net, and oh gosh, what was his name? Didn't give me a name here, but gave me no. There's no name. That's
Okay, but it's
they're
from a
hiding.
website. These you didn't write these. It
No,
was
I
from
did
a
not.
website.
It's
Okay.
posted by Tanya Bennett. Anyway.
Ex-party girl.
Yes, ex-party girl. Tanya. So
That's Whoop Whoop's her quote name. That's her party name. Tanya Whoop Whoop.
So you are used to staying up all night.
Okay.
Just consider all of that late night partying as endurance training for the first few months, possibly years of parenthood.
Yeah, but it's not fun staying up that late when you're not drunk and you're not, you're not high. You just
And yeah,
I'm up
as a party
late.
girl, you can be up late and then sleep all day.
True.
As a mom,
It's
you're
not-
up all night and up all day.
Yeah,
That's right.
So as a
right.
party girl, it's not a good. Number 2, you're not fazed by everyone staring at your boobs all the time. They used to look because of your push-up bra and tight top. Now they may be looking because you're leaking milk or because you put Dolly Parton to shame. Whatever the reason, it's unreasonable to expect eye contact from people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember though when I was breastfeeding phase and everything.
Yeah.
There's a point where it's like, who cares who sees them?
right.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like whatever.
You know, it's weird. It's here in Montreal. I grew up in a culture where you hid that. That wasn't, and I don't think it was just the church. I think just general in Minnesota. So when I started first breastfeeding my first, I would cover myself and my friends would tease me like, oh, you prudish American. What is wrong with you? And so I stopped doing it. Like I got comfortable doing it in public. And then I went back to Minnesota and was doing it like I was comfortable, and people would stare like, whoa.
They called the SWAT team.
And at one point someone asked me to cover up, and at one point,
wow.
I was at the YMCA, my kids were filming in the pool, and they're like, oh, you're not allowed to breastfeed in the pool area. Like, what?
Wow.
It's like there's there's women in bikinis, and I'm not allowed, like at a YMCA, like a family center. Like,
right.
Wow. Culturally, like I got comfortable doing it here, and then was like completely whiplashed back into covering up once I got back to the States.
Wow.
In Edmonton, they cover it up too. It's pretty conservative as well. So I never even noticed that here.
Well, in Toronto, you can take your top off any time, so you could just,
That's true, but people don't really
go commando.
do it. Maybe at the beach.
Go for a walk in the park, topless, the baby. No?
Or not, no baby, just walk.
Oh, yeah. Number 3, if you don't have vomit on your clothes, you're just not having a good time. At some point early in parenthood, you will just give up on the mountain of laundry and wear your various stains like the proud badges of parenthood they are. Similarly, in the old days, you had more important things on your mind than a few barf stains, like who finished that bottle of tequila?
And who's this guy next to me?
Right.
I'd like to know how she equates like vomit on your clothing as a good time.
I don't know.
I guess if you've drank to the point you're vomiting, then like that's the proper level of drinking. I've never been a party girl that way.
No.
So. That's not
a good friend of mine. He was getting ready to throw up in the toilet, and I was standing on the opposite side of the toilet.
Were you holding his hair for him? You're so
I was
sweet.
not. I was not. I was actually going to roast him a little bit once he started vomiting. But the first reflex that he had to vomit, his whole body went up and over. So he missed the toilet, hit my pants, on my sock. Yeah. It was all warm and nasty. So it's not fun being vomited on. That's not a fun party thing. No.
Yeah, and it's not a sign of having a good time.
No.
Number 4, now when the front of your shirt is all wet, it's because your boobs are leaking. Before, it was because you were entered in a wet t-shirt contest, or perhaps you just simply missed your mouth while drinking. Some same difference, and that's why number 2 is critical to your success. Okay.
Yeah, we had to leave a wedding once.
Yes, I went to a wedding,
Yeah.
and it was with Ronan, and I think the wedding was 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month after giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was leaking. I didn't know the cabbage trick or anything. And
what's the cabbage trick?
Well, supposedly some women
It's supposed to help with engorgement.
Engorgement, yeah.
Or it keeps them an infection. You're supposed to like put cabbage leaves, and it's so nice that
supposed
they
to be
cut
relieving.
perfectly.
So it's not like eating cabbage. It's
no,
actually
actual leaf on the tissue.
Yeah.
Sounds like voodoo science.
Yeah,
right
it
there.
helps with engorgement supposedly, and it's supposed to be soothing for the.
I've never tried it. I remember seeing that. I've never tried it though.
No.
Yeah, it just ended up being a lot of coleslaw.
How long did you breastfeed the kids on average?
All of them about a year.
Oh wow, you're my hero.
No, I mean there's people who do it longer than that.
Oh my God, there's people that do it and their kids are like 8.
Yeah, those are fun parents to hang out with.
Yeah, that's the kind of mom group.
Kids putting Lego together. He's got a tit in his mouth. He's playing video games on the Xbox.
Yeah. At the point, he's like, "Mother, can I have a snack?" Then it's too far. It's too long.
It's like it's like a Little Britain.
Yeah.
It's like a grown man. He's like, bitty. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
Oh, they're wild. Number 5, able to perform daily tasks while completely out of it.
Yeah, that could go. That could help.
Yes.
Yeah, on
Right.
autopilot for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Number 6, shrieking cries sound muted after standing in front of speakers at concert for years.
Damaged ears. Yeah.
Yes, I have damaged ears.
Do you
What?
really?
Yes. Well, I feel like I do. I could hear I get the odd ringing sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I was a party girl, but not hardcore, like vomiting and.
No,
that kind
of course
thing.
not. Right?
But
no,
I did have
yeah.
in my 20s where I went clubbing all the time and standing right next to the speakers all the time. Yeah.
Oh,
feeling that music.
Oh, and it's like the music was great, but I could, my mind is like, Shirley, it's not a good idea.
I can't. I don't know how you had a good time.
Yeah. No, it's like physically hurts my head. I gotta move further away.
And I like being engaged with people. I like discussing things and not
you don't like
yelling.
Yes, I think that was the defining moment when literally, me and my friend Daria, I think we were late 20s, and that's when we realized, like, oh my gosh, we're so done with the clubbing. We're in the middle of the dance floor, we're dancing, and in some weird way, at the same time, we just kind of stopped, and we just looked at each other like, it's loud here. Yeah, let's get out of here.
What? I said it's loud here.
Yeah, we just stood there. We just literally went from having a great time to boom. It's just kind of.
You guys grew up, like in that millisecond,
at the same time.
Yes,
you guys turned into adults.
Yeah.
You probably just saw someone just a little bit older than you and realized we don't want to be that woman.
Probably.
And you're both like subconscious, like, is this us
Is that gonna be us?
in 2 years?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll keep going to the clubs as long as I don't turn into that.
late.
Yeah,
and I see that happening, and I need to.
Yeah, it was just very odd how it just happened to both of us at the same time, and I remember thinking like everyone around us was moving faster, and kind of like time slowed down for us, and we're just looking at each other, like, and we're just looking around like, what are we doing here?
Do we look like narcs?
Yeah. Suddenly feels very awkward.
Yes, exactly. Let's go to a Chinese restaurant.
Actually have a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. But even then, your ears are so damaged. She's like, what? At the table. What?
Yes. Number 7, a misbehaving toddler is easier to take care of than that lead singer you dated in your 20s. I don't know. I've never dated a lead singer.
I never dated a lead singer either.
Number 8, it's not the first time you've walked around in public with your t-shirt inside out and backwards, and the back of your t-shirt tucked into your nylons, so you're not embarrassed when a stranger points it out to you. Okay, that's a real party.
Yeah,
girl.
I was going to think of this lady as party.
Yeah, that is, Number 9.
We're lucky she's still alive. Or maybe not lucky. Maybe natural selection should have played out a little better.
Exactly.
She's lucky, we're not.
Exactly.
Our future generations are going to suffer.
The species as a whole is not.
Number 9, watching other people's children suck at piano recitals, dance numbers, sports, and school plays is your way of bringing balance back to the universe after subjecting scads of busy karaoke bar patrons to your heavy metal rendition of Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now. And number 10, after using the bathroom at various nightclubs, dives, raves, and outdoor concerts, your grossed out threshold is unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be a party girl. Just going to an outdoor concert or some of these dive bars. Whoa. Yeah.
I went to the last dive bar I went to. You could, as soon as you walked in and you walked to the bar, you could look straight down the bar and you would see the urinals.
Nice.
It was
There's
just the
no
bathrooms.
door.
No, just like all open. Yeah.
Nice.
Open concept bar. It's gross.
I think the dives bar that we went not too long ago with a friend of ours in NDG, and I can't remember the name.
Maz Bar.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a dump.
Yeah.
It's like, the tables are made out of
smell.
like 2x4s and wood. Yeah.
that could be kind of cool in the right setting, but
Right.
this sounded like not the right
No.
setting.
This is like they just didn't want to buy a table and they had extra
Or
wood
they
lying around.
had like 4 tables and they got smashed in the night before,
Yeah.
and so they're like, we're not going to invest in real tables anymore.
Have you ever performed at a dive bar, like a
There's a
comic
couple around. I'm trying to stay away. Get away from them. Just at some point you just take stage time where you can get stage time. But we talked about this earlier, spend a lot of time in bathrooms at comedy clubs. And if the bathroom's a dump, then
Yeah.
at the point that you don't want to take a dump in the, then
gotcha.
it's like,
Gotcha. I'm not sitting on that.
and I'm about to poop. Like, how bad if you're not willing to poop into something. Yeah.
Is there a place that you will not play anymore? Like the place that
That
you're
you
like,
won't
nope,
go?
not doing it.
No, different shows, different producers, and different. If as a producer I liked and they're happy to do that room, that's fine. There's some rooms. There's one downtown called Andrews where it's kind of a dive bar-ish, but I've never done well in that room ever.
Wow.
Ever. Like, and I like the producer, so I'd always do it whenever he asked.
Sure.
And early on in my career, I would ask to be on it, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, I'll only do it when he asks because I never do well in that room. And I don't know if it was the room or the crowds he drew or whatever.
Crowd, yeah.
And I took the stage time. That's fine. It was good. It's, it's a good practice to learn how to bomb or not do well.
Right.
But yeah, there's just sometimes, I don't know what it is. Like, and we talked about spirituality. Like maybe there's some energies to that room that just didn't jive with mine. But
Hey, maybe some people
the feng
died there.
shui was
Yeah, the feng
off.
shui.
Right.
Yeah.
You could tell the crowd. Can you guys
you
turn
guys
this way?
put this, install this mirror here.
Right.
I got my eucalyptus plant. We're gonna put this in here and see if we can change
I
the.
need you guys to shift the stage 15
Yeah,
degrees
yeah.
northwest.
South.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not a bad idea.
That'd be crazy. Like actually, as
Be
a
that
producer.
kind of diva, like to come in and.
Here are my feng shui
Yeah.
requirements.
Now, I've never been to the Just for Laugh, not yet anyway. And have you been to any of the Just for Laugh events or?
As in the audience, I've never performed in their events.
What's it like as an attend? Like, how does it? I mean, I always was curious to know how it works.
Oh, they have a lot of different venues. They have some huge theaters. They have smaller bars that are more like a bar feel. The two main clubs, English clubs here, the Comedy Nest and Works, they hold events all week, so you can have that more typical comedy club feel.
Okay.
So you have they do improv rooms. They have improv stuff. They have this outdoor street stuff, which isn't so much comedy, although I think they are trying to get some of the outdoor comedy. I think last year they had a tent. Bonnie McFarlane performed in a tent last year at the yeah. She jokes a lot about that one. If you go back to her like August or July from 2012, she talks about being at Just for Laughs.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of so whatever your taste is, and the tickets I find aren't cheap. So
Yes.
especially for the theaters and stuff, they're gonna run you up there. So
Yeah, the theaters. That's where all the big comics.
yeah,
Yes.
the big galas. Yeah,
Yes.
you can get a little sampling of, and then each gala will have a big headliner that an internationally known comic or actor to host. So
The last time I was at a Just for Laughs festival, I really enjoyed what was happening on the street, like the street venues, like the little like stage plays.
was it in
that they
Place
have.
des Arts or was it in Quartier Latin? Like on Saint Denis?
It was on Saint Denis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they had like a bunch of like acts that I guess like mime performers,
Circus type stuff.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. And well, we couldn't afford to go see any features or anything like that,
Right.
but just walking down the street, it's such a good vibe.
It
It's
is
such
a cool vibe.
And it's not, you'll be walking down St. Denis, and then you'll just come by this booth, and this guy's just now he's starting his show, and then you stand there and you watch his show, and it's great. Yeah.
It's cool. The stuff they've moved it now to Place des Arts, so it's got a different vibe to it now. It feels
Okay.
a little bit more like. What was nice about when it was on Saint Denis is that it was kind of darker and it kind of had this, especially at nighttime. It's kind of a completely different vibe than say the Jazz Fest or the Francofolies.
Yes.
But now that's in Place des Arts, it feels a little bit more like those.
Okay.
I think they're still trying to have a distinct feel, but it's hard to do when you've got the fountain and you're on the same area. But
What was the reason for the move?
I think the city wanted to try to get all the festivals in one area. So in order to get the permit or to get the tax rebates, whatever, I don't know. But I had the feeling that was kind of the city's idea. Like they're trying to get everything. They're calling it the festival district, and I think
festival district.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it makes it easier too for the worker, like for the
to have
whole
a consistent.
city as well, so that way when all these festivals are going on and the city can continue running.
But I think that was part of the charm, though, like
It
having it in
was.
different parts of the city.
Yeah, and different neighborhoods, different tastes, and it was good
Yeah.
for the vendors because people, people who lived or the depeners in the area were getting more business, and you could sit there at a restaurant. Whereas at Place des Arts, there's just the Baton Rouge, and there's not really no like restaurants in the middle of all that. So.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. And it doesn't feel like that, daily stroll that you're doing anymore. It's just kind of concentrated, right?
Right.
So,
You kind of had to go out of your way to get there. Whereas
Yes.
before, you could just be walking down Saint Denis and run. Oh, yeah, there's a festival.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That's
we
what I
go
love
on,
about it,
and we go on Saint Denis like all the time just to go grab a bite to eat or stuff
Right,
like that.
right. And then to show up, it's like, hey,
the
look at
festival's
that.
going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, exactly.
So parental dissension advised.
Yes.
Comedy tour. How did this come about? For you?
It was Jen Hayward is the Ottawa comic. So there's 3 comics. one from Toronto, one from Ottawa, me from Montreal. And it was Jen Hayward's idea. She said, let's do 3 different cities. Each of us will manage our own city, and we'll bump through the 3 of them. So it was her idea. And then I said, yeah, what the heck? I would love to do a tour. And coincidentally, my kids don't have school this week, so I can actually take them on the road with me. And
Cool.
Nice.
yeah, so we're going to go to Ottawa and then Toronto, do a couple shows in each of those cities, and then the tour actually starts on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. It's gonna be great.
What's your favorite show or favorite city to perform in?
Well, so far I performed Montreal, Toronto. Do you count South Shore is still Montreal, right?
Sure. Yeah, sure. South Shore, Montreal.
I know sometimes it feels like another city. And then in my hometown in Minneapolis and St. Paul. So I don't know. Like last night's show was amazing. The crowd was great. It was a fundraiser for a school, and so it was an elementary school. So it was like full of parents who have kids that are the same age as my kids. So we could just relate at such a deep level. So that was fantastic. It was the biggest room I've ever. I mean, it was like 400 people. So that was fantastic.
Oh my God,
That's awesome.
I admire public speaking so much because I've said this on the show before that when my public speaking ability is very lacking, and I will even get to the point of starting to get anxious and sweaty when I'm seeing someone else public speaking. Yeah.
No, I drive out to the place because it was about a 45-minute drive yesterday. I was asking my husband, I said, do you still get nervous for me?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, no, but I used to. He used to get probably as nervous as I did.
Yeah.
You know, when someone you love, and I'm assuming even for you, it's a stranger. You don't even have to love that person.
But it's different when Shirley will be singing on stage and stuff like that. There's more of a pride there. There's more of like an excitement. There's more of
But do you ever get nervous for her? Like, this is a new song she might not be ready for? Or?
Only because of the room. Like if I see the room is not really like paying attention to the stage at the time, and there's other things going on and stuff, and she's going to go up there, she's going to do her thing, and there's a piece of me that says like, oh, but people need to be paying attention to Shirley.
My wife, goddammit.
Hey, everybody shut up. And listen. And but there definitely is that there, but it's way overshadowed by excitement. It's when I can picture myself there. I mean, that's when I start sweating. It's bad.
But that's natural. I think you could get through that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we all had that response.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's like, what did Jerry Seinfeld say? Like the 2 people's biggest fears. I have a list of them. Death is number 2.
Yes.
Public speaking is number 1. So if you're at a funeral, you'd rather be in the casket than the one giving the eulogy.
That's funny because I've thought about that. I've thought about like, what if somebody says, "Can you be my best man?" I'd be like, "Sure," but
I can't
speeches.
Speak. Yeah.
Have to
But you just got to muscle through it.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. So you just get through it, and then you get comfortable with it. And
see, that's the thing. I've done public speaking. Though. I've done a room of like, I think the largest room I did was 200 people. And that was for a presentation I did on the work that we had done in a game. And I did that room and I did that same presentation at I think 4 or 5 different other venues.
Okay.
Never got better.
Really?
Oh.
It was always
so maybe it's almost like a phobia level for you.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would definitely have to do more in terms of conquering it. Like it's not for me it doesn't feel like I'm trending towards it getting better when I do it. You know what I mean? It's just no, stop.
So when we see Kate on May 5th and you see Clove sweating.
Yeah, it's because you're like, I can see myself up there.
I'll just be behind the bar. How do you do that?
Your husband's like,
he's shitting his pants back there.
He's in the washroom.
He couldn't make it to the bathroom.
And the worst part about it is like the team that I was on in Edmonton, they knew it, right? Well, you can tell when somebody doesn't feel comfortable up there, right? The voice is starting to shake, and then they forget what they're saying, and they kind of move over.
A lot of ums and
and then people are just staring at you, and I know that 99% of the people in the room are staring at you, saying, "It's cool, dude. You can get through it."
Right.
And they're rooting for you.
Yeah. Nobody's up there like wanting. No one's down there wanting you to fail.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Maybe one guy in the corner who's just evil by nature.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm the asshole. You will fail.
The guy that's misconstrued the New Testament. That guy. Yeah.
But he's really charismatic for some reason. I don't understand. But on that team, remember Alain, who was the producer, he would always make jokes about it. And when he was getting ready to, invite me to come up and do my spiel for the team or whatever, he put a picture of a guy with who had just pissed himself. It's like, come on up, Clove.
Oh, that's cruel.
It was funny though.
Oh, wow.
It helped lighten the tension a little bit, but it was yeah.
For you even, or did it?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
if it helped, then that's good.
Yeah, it kind of like when I saw that, I knew what he was doing, and the anxiety went, and then when everybody laughed,
it just turned to rage.
It felt really friendly. It felt like everybody got it. Everybody was like, oh, okay, all right,
okay,
that's cute.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It helped a little bit, but yeah.
That's amazing.
So
we're doing a 3-city mini tour. I'm calling it but it's technically a tour.
It's a tour,
yeah, and it's gonna be great. I mean, since I've started comedy, I noticed a kind of like this donut hole of people in the audience. So in the center, you've got single people or people in their 20s, whatever.
They're ready to party,
and they'll go to comedy clubs. And then that next age range, 30 to 40, there's not a lot of people coming. And then outside of that, like the empty nesters, those people are in there. But that donut hole of parents and people parenting age, there's not a lot of those people at comedy clubs, at least not at the shows I've been doing. And so my goal with this show is to say, hey, here's a show for you guys. And I know for parents, it's hard to get out. It's expensive to get out. And taking a risk on a comedy show it's tough, spending money on a babysitter and stuff. But this show's designed for you, there's not going to be masturbation jokes. There's not going to be disgusting jokes, it's not, and the 3 parents we have, it's not going to be like, oh, my kids are so cute. And she said that. No, it's it's dissension. This is us bitching about parents, that grittier side of being a mom and being an outspoken person and the dads and their frustration with not getting laid and all that. So, yeah, so that kind of stuff. That's.
Do you find that with that? I mean, you mentioned that too. Your comedy is a lot about parenting and your family and yourself and everything. Has anyone ever said oh man, that's kind of brutal what you say? I say this because sometimes I've had younger people ask me what's it like to be a mom and I tell them it's a headache. Why are you asking me this?
Yeah.
I'm at work right now. I don't need to think about my kids.
It's not sunshines and rainbows.
And it's oh, you're so mean. And I'm like, I'm not being mean. I love my kids. It's just,
no, yesterday someone said to me, it must be hard to be one of your kids. That's the first time it's ever been negative.
Huh.
Wow.
Most people will say, a host will come up and be like, wouldn't it be awesome to have her as your mom? That's what most people walk away from it as. Cause I'm rough on my kids, but through punishing myself, through the choices that I've made. I don't blame them.
Right.
The reason they're brats is because I screwed up, not because they're bad people, So it's try to take that angle with it. And, I have jokes about, not loving them all, but it's I don't ever say which one is it. No, I know.
We made that mistake.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mistake. We were very clear
totally intentional.
who the favorite was.
He asked me, and I was like, it's podcasting, and I have to be real. And I was I can't believe you asked me that question. Who's your favorite?
Yeah, it's okay. I told you who my favorite was, so it all worked out.
And it wasn't even one of your children. It was a neighbor kid.
It's Joey next door. Because he's never here.
Yeah, he's so quiet.
It was Kate's Jack Russell.
Yeah, I know.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's that. A lot. Some of the better feedback or more interesting feedback is people are you're really different. My material about my marriage isn't how much it sucks. Because we've heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's I love my husband, he loves me, but that's not funny. No one's getting on stage my marriage is awesome. There's no funny in that.
Right.
So I've somehow, just through my own twisted view of the world, found the funny in a happy relationship, but still that has issues, but not hate. Louis C.K., you could tell his marriage was falling apart because he was really, I'd hoped as a fan, he was just exaggerating.
Yes.
Right.
And then when he announced that, when it came out that he was actually divorced, it didn't surprise me, but I felt bad. Wow, what he was talking about was real. That distance from his wife, all that stuff, those was real things. And I really felt bad. And so my material isn't about that. Like my husband and I are very close, and especially with the comedies brought us even closer. But
Really?
exploring the things that don't work, or just me seeing our relationships through my twisted view of the world, especially now that I can write jokes about it. So I have like very meta jokes about how like, the most terrifying part of my husband's life of being married to me was when immediately after sex, I roll over and start writing in my joke idea file. Like,
That was great, honey. Oh, I just thought of something.
Yeah. Or that was horrible.
What was that thing? No, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
again.
so like, if your wife's getting joke ideas while having sex, like, oh god, yeah. So it's that kind of like me as a comic seeing our relationship, that kind of stuff.
Has he made, I guess, suggestions for rewrites?
Yeah. Not sometimes I'll have jokes where he's like, you're losing your value. Like you're putting yourself in a position where the audience is going to value you less. Like don't take that approach. Or, that's not very true. That's ringing very false to me. And I think the audience is going to pick up on that. So don't go that direction. Wow. The thing with a lot of my humor, most of it comes from very real places, but it's weird. Like people come up to every show, at least once, maybe even 5 times. Do you really have 4 kids?
Wow.
Like, I'm going to lie about, I'm going to make that number up. Yeah. And so it's, but the problem is
same
4
thing,
Jack
right?
Russells.
And they still say shitty things to me.
Still want money and allowances.
Fucking dogs.
Gotta send them to dog training school.
But I see it's one of the benefits of being older and having kids and just getting into comedy now is that I have a lot to talk about. Like, I don't have to try to see funny things and things. Like, it just comes constant. It's kind of bombarded with it. Like, there's no shortage of material. And I see comics who are in their 20s who struggle with trying to come up with new stuff because there's not a lot going on. And then how many jokes do you have about not doing well in school or dating? A lot of that's kind of been trodden over enough, whereas there's not a lot of us doing the mom stuff. And with my weird view of it, that's even another angle or another niche. So that's a huge benefit to this is that there's no shortage of stuff. The stories I tell are true mostly, and then I'll add the little weird twist at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
You add your little extra.
To make it, they're funny. Yeah.
You're telling a joke.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But the scenarios that they're coming out of aren't me. I'm not that smart. I couldn't write these scenarios, but my perception of the scenarios and the twist I put on it, that's me. So yeah.
That's awesome. I get the same feeling when I'm riding the metro, how much material there is.
I know.
Of just the different personalities that are on the metro. It's crazy.
That's but people do that. That's in someone in their 20s, they're going to do a lot of riding the metro jokes because that's their life. And you write what you know, but unfortunately at certain ages or certain experiences, what you know is what a lot of other people know. My advice to comics at that is go volunteer at a homeless shelter or go work something, or join Alcoholics Anonymous. First of all, you need to clean up. And secondly, you get some stories and about your own self-improvement, kill two birds with one stone there.
I think when you're younger, it probably, the experience just doesn't come across. You know what I mean? It's a little bit forced in terms of what your life experience is.
Yeah. As, you ever seen beans grow? If you get a flat of greens and they're just seeds,
yes.
When they grow, they look if you have 40 of them, they all look identical, even to the point where the first leaf comes out, it all goes the same direction.
Yes.
And they all go, and it's not until they get big, they all start going crazy and different. But if you as a kid growing up, working on a farm, it would always freak me out. They always come out the same way. The leaf goes this way. The other one goes this way. Mm-hmm. So it's in your 20s, we all kind of look the same, even though we're, different. And we come from different backgrounds for the most part. Especially, being in North America and more or less middle class America, in North America, we're all kind of structured the same. We all went to public school or even private school, but school, none of us are not having gone to school, we're all, And so our experiences are more or less the same. And it's not until you can kind of be different, then you can bring a different voice. So.
True.
Agreed.
Hence why things like podcasts, so many of them are like 30-year-olds that are doing it. Because by that age, you have the experience, you have the stories, and that kind of
And
thing.
I can see when you're younger, you would get lost in that similarity with everybody else that's that age. Like you still don't know how to do you because you
don't know who you are yet.
You look at everyone else and you're just kind of like the same as everyone else.
Yeah. You think you know you are. And I'm sure all of us grow up, we're going to realize we're going to know who we are more than we are now. But compared to when we were 20, like, whoa.
When I was 20, I would have argued like till I was blue in the face that I knew who I was.
Right.
Ask me now? No.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Still learning. Right? I mean, obviously you're walking around with notes and everything. Do your kids ever call you on that? Like,
yes.
Like they say something and you put it down and they're like, Mom, you're doing it again.
No.
Put that away. We're trying to have fun.
Well, no, like a lot of things now, like my youngest daughter, she's 5, and I'm sure yours does the same thing. She says like these adorable things.
Yes.
And I'll either like save it and like tell my husband, or I'll put it on Facebook, and she'll say something cute and I'll laugh. It's so cute. And then she'll say, don't put that on Facebook.
She says that?
Yeah, or don't tell Daddy. And it's not. So yeah, they're like then burned. Like she's like so jaded. Like she can't even say something cute without putting a disclaimer on it.
I'll sue you, Mom.
Our kids are the opposite. Our kids are like, I've got a great idea for YouTube.
Yeah, my kids do want to start YouTubing, and they'll make like a hilarious videos. I need to get a channel set up for them. I find them hilarious.
Yeah,
they'll like have their ponies and they'll pretend, and because they all have like the iPhones and they just making their like home movies.
Yes,
it's hilarious.
There's that thing Vine now where you can make like these really short
ones.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Okay, I should look into that one. Yeah.
It's 6 seconds.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, no, but my kid. Yeah, a lot of jokes about my kids, and they've seen some of it. And one of my daughter's friends Googled me and found some of my YouTube videos, and now she's telling my because I don't know why my kids haven't done it. They've probably seen it. Actually, that week where they were home when I was preparing for my first set, I did the set in front of them 1,000 times, and they laugh. It's funny the things that they laugh at versus the other crowds. It's funny. It's interesting. I would love someday like do a set just for kids, but
that would be awesome.
Yeah, but I don't know if they know what hand jobs are yet.
No. I'm like, what?
I want to skirt around that
one. Has your kids ever I mean, you said your kid's 10 is the eldest, right?
Yeah.
Have any of your kids asked you about sex yet? I mean,
they know a lot about sex.
Do they?
Yeah, and every time I hear them talking about it, they say the kids at school talk a lot about it.
Really?
Yeah. And there's like specific things that my oldest like is hinting at, like she knows about. Like what?
Really?
Yeah,
scary.
And she said, yeah, and we probably need to get there. She's at the age now where she hears people talking about it. She's still kind of grossed out by it. But one of, like how you guys are on the dance floor and you switch, like, why are we here? One of these days you'll be like, this isn't gross anymore. I want to know more. And so I got to make sure the parental controls are on in the right way.
You say parental control, I say trauma.
Yeah.
I want them to be scared of it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to explain? Did they ever come to you and say, hey, Mom?
No, we've been, from an early age, really open with sex. Like, I didn't want to have it be awkward. I want them as 4-year-olds to know the penis goes in the vagina, and then so we still, like, the other day, last weekend we were talking about it because my son, what did he ask me? Like I said, how are babies? Or wait, why do you need 2 people to make babies? Mm-hmm. And they thought about it.
That's a good question for a kid.
The 5-year-old said, because you can't kiss yourself in your own mouths.
That's pretty good.
Like how it's plural.
Yeah, because you need. And then my son's question was like, how is it the baby? He knew the penis went in the vagina, but he didn't know like what happens next. And so I was trying to explain like the seed and the egg. He's like, your eggs.
I know, right? In your mind.
Yeah, they see eggs.
Yeah,
right?
You have a chicken inside you, just pooping them out.
It's priceless. You couldn't pay a top comedian to think up that shit.
But I generally don't put those things in my stand-up, but maybe I should. You guys are getting a good response here.
It's awesome.
I love those quirky kids. That's why I do like Chonilla Sisters, because when I ask them questions like that,
their answers are priceless.
So
childlike answers. Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, it's that simple.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You were doing a Chonilla Sisters, and our youngest was trying to put her toe in my nose.
So it's like, it's great.
She was having a good time.
My kids, the girls recently asked me about, know, where babies come from. So I explained, I try to do the
I just want to be very matter of fact about it.
Yeah. And I just didn't know. It's just her questions was getting deeper and deeper. And I didn't feel comfortable yet to tell her like the penis goes into the vagina.
But see, it's my theory is that it's going to be way more comfortable now than when they're 8 or 9,
right.
You know? Because then it's going to be like awkward. It's like, I want to have that just kind of, they know open. The word penis and vagina, they go together, mommies and daddies, like that's, you know what I mean? Like, I worry though, because that's what I'm teaching them, that very traditional, but at the same time, there's families that aren't mommies or daddies, they're two mommies, but you can't.
No, that's true.
It's too complex for a 10-year-old. Like,
right.
That's the next.
Yeah. So I feel like this is like sexology 101, relationships 101, and then as we get older, but I do feel like sometimes that's why we have these biases, is because we're taught at a very young age, like, this is how babies are made, and that's what a family is.
Right.
And it's only a little more nuance and more a little understanding that you can come to understand that there's different scenarios. But trying to teach someone all the scenarios in the first conversation could get a little, a little sticky.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. Where's the baby wipes?
That's what I miss about not having kids around in diapers anymore. When I used to have baby wipes with me, we use those all the time to wash our hands.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember, I remember
magic.
thinking, like, when we were single, why didn't we always have baby wipes with us?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's like that. Like that would be my advice to anyone. Baby wipes, keep
Don't
them
stop.
around. They're not just for babies.
No, they're not.
I heard the number 2 seller of baby wipes, like the number 2 people that buy baby wipes, is porn stars.
Oh.
Yeah, the porn industry is huge on buying baby wipes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of wiping that happens in porn. It makes sense.
You got my mind rolling, because I'm thinking when you go to a sex shop, it's not something. I don't think I see any type of baby wipes.
No, no, I don't think anybody would put like baby. Well, they could. I guess they could market
hot
it. Yeah,
and sexy, like oils and. Trademark Chonilla.com.
Yeah,
I'll take that idea.
It's Chonilla wet naps.
Exactly.
Oh,
Half of it's chocolate, half of it's
there you go.
So another thing we do is getting to know you 8 Qs, a little, simple, cute questions.
All right.
So the first one, have you ever been to a gay bar?
Yes.
What was that like for you?
Awesome.
Yeah?
I love it.
Was it a gay bar like for men, or
I've
mixture
performed in recently, and they're not technically they're lesbian friendly.
Okay. And
there are a lot of lesbians hang out with them, but they're not like weren't staring my husband down and asking him to leave or anything like that. So that was so I don't know if that counts, but no, we used to live down where the Latin Quarter, where we were talking about, where and they had not far from the gay village, and the big parade, the diversité thing, they would do a big parade, and it was just a big party, and we'd go down there and we'd hang out for the parade and then go hang out in the clubs afterwards, and I loved it. Yeah. But early on, like the first New Year's that I was away from my family, still like this little Christian girl, we were in New York City, because we living in Baltimore, and we drove up to New York, and we heard that Blondie was playing for a New Year's Eve show, and it sold out, but we bribed our way to the back door.
Nice.
And we got in, and it was a gay bar, but it was cool because it was a show. They're showing it, but on the screens was like hardcore gay sex
on
the screens.
Yeah.
Oh, like I was just what the, like I am this, and I just come out of this cult. Gay sex was like
No.
Yeah, like those people are going to hell. And I was like, I probably spent more time watching the screens than the show.
Yeah, I went to a gay bar with an old college friend of mine and his old university roommate, and he had a bunch of his friends, and that exact same thing. It was called the Barn in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was there, we walk in, everything's fine. You go to the bar, and then you just you see the TV screen, and I'm used to seeing like sports in a bar, on the TV screen, and sure enough, it was hardcore gay pornography, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
you're like staring.
Just like that. Nobody's complaining. Well, all right. Live and let live. So,
yeah. And it's a pretty good way to desensitize yourself real quick.
Yes. Absolutely. You get
after that.
right into the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good.
Baptism by fire.
Ready.
I had a really good time.
Yeah.
And before we went to the barn, we were at another, it was a lesbian bar, but it was the same thing. Really good time.
The same trip to New York, though. It was funny, or maybe a different trip. We were in the Village. I didn't know. I maybe he didn't know we were in the Village, but we were kind of looking for a place. So I was me and my husband. We weren't married at the time. My husband now, and then a friend of ours who we had met in Baltimore. She was staying with us. She was an Australian, like traveling the world, and one of these, you see that a lot here, where they go one direction around. And she spent like 4 months with us in Baltimore, and she crashed on our couch, and it was awesome. But she came with us to New York, and so it was the 2 women and 1 guy. And we were walking around, and we was like, hey, let's jump into a place, and this place looks hopping. And we just walked in, and it's kind of like, like in those old westerns, like the music stuff. Like it's quiet and everyone's staring. And then we like, oh, maybe not this place. And then we just it's like every single, there was a man, and there wasn't a vagina in the room, it was just while they met. But yeah, it's like it was palpable. Like, no, you're not coming in here.
Breeders are not welcome.
Yeah.
And you guys look like breeders.
Yeah. He can stay, but you guys gotta go. Yeah. No, and it wasn't like hostile or anything. It's just like, no, this isn't your, yeah. But it was kind of like, it's like everything slowed down. Like, whoa, yeah.
How old were you when you had your first kiss?
I don't know. Probably because dating was like, to have a boyfriend in high school was not cool. Like that had to be all secret and stuff.
Were you guys able to kiss?
I can't imagine like the raging
know.
hormones.
Yes, I know that's a great way to like keep kids. Like you can't. Like they're just gonna squeeze that toothpaste out even harder. Like it's just like it's gonna come out somewhere, right?
Yes.
So I don't know, probably like 16 or 17, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, was he good?
Clearly not.
Yeah, it wasn't
right,
the guy I
she
stayed with. Yeah.
She would have remembered right away. Yeah. What did you want to be when you grew up? Like when you were younger, what did you think?
I like the idea of architecture or I was horrible at math, and my math teacher kind of made it clear to me, like, you're not gonna architect. Yeah. So I was into graphic design. It was kind of like I was graduating like right during the desktop revolution, where Illustrator and Photoshop were tools, and you could do it on the computer, and so that was kind of cool. We had a Mac in our school, and I learned some stuff there. And then my first job involved some of that stuff, and so I did that for a little bit, but I was never really that good at it. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, because I've never went to college, I never had to like think like, what am I gonna? For a while, when we lived in Baltimore, there's an aquarium there, like a national aquarium. It was like a really quality aquarium, and they had these seals outside. So any time of day, there's like a seal exhibit you could go, and so we could go on a run and go say hi to the seals. And during that, I thought, I want to be a marine biologist. Like that would just, that's how flighty I am. Like seals. I want to be a marine biologist.
You're taking the bus home. You're like, I want to be a bus driver.
Yeah.
This is a fun rickshaw ride. I think I want to be a rickshaw driver.
You get off in the wrong neighborhood. I want to be a prostitute.
Exactly. No hours, flexible hours.
You're getting booked. You're like, maybe I want to be a cop. Yeah. Wait, no, maybe I want to be a paramedic. Yeah, my face hurts.
You're going in for your STD check. I want to be a doctor.
And a guidance counselor. Yeah, I wonder if I can do all that.
Career counselor, the worst job ever for the person who's just jumping around.
If you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you'd buy?
We need a new kitchen really bad, really bad. But short of that, no, I've thought about this a lot because it's like if this were to ever like become something, I think I want to stay in the same house, and maybe travel a little more. My fear, like you hear these stories of like someone who's like become a big star and then they have to, it goes away and they have to sell the mansion. And so like, I never, that mortified, like horrifies me. That idea of like moving into the big neighborhood and then having to move out. Like I just,
There's a great documentary called,
Oh
Broke.
my.
About people like lottery winners or something? Oh.
It's about, athletes who make bajillions of dollars and they pay like, they have an entourage of like 50 people. And it's produced by 30 for 30, an ESPN program where they ask different movie directors to direct a sports documentary. And this one goes through a lot of
I think I've seen one of those.
That, oh my God, you talk about like $10 million contracts, $50 million contracts, and they are now broke.
Yeah, no, I would not.
Money left.
No, I would save it. I would invest it. I would replenish some of the savings that we've had to tap into since I've stopped working. You know, like that would be my priority. I mean, I think there's some reason. I mean, if you become a big enough celebrity that you need security and stuff, then I could see why you might have to make the move. But even then, it would be like into a condo high rise or something, not into a huge house where you have to have security detail. You know, there's just to me that like the shame of
losing all of that.
You're just like thinking that's who you are, and then having to, I'm not a big fan of like pretension and being overly, showy. So
my biggest fear of success is thinking that I'll be blinded by my success. Like I won't look for ways to improve who I am. You know what I mean? Because I'm successful. I made it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like clearly I made it this far doing what
it's
I
working,
do. So
yeah.
I'm not going to change anything.
Yeah.
But that's, to me, that as I see it now, it's not really living because living is change. It's
growing.
Yeah, exactly.
Improving.
Would you still do stand-up comedy if you became, a millionaire?
If I won the lottery,
if you won the lottery,
yeah.
Oh yeah, because now you have that freedom, right?
No, because I'm doing what I love, and that's what's really cool. It's like even if I had all the money in the world, I'd still be doing what I'm doing now, and maybe I'd do it more and more aggressively or produce shows. But it's more or less the same thing. It's like that's what makes me happy. It's like I'm living my life. I'm doing what I want to do. It's not just for money. It's clearly not for the money at this point. It's for the love of doing it. And so that's exciting. And that's why, earlier, if nothing ever comes out of it, at least I was doing something that I really love doing.
I agree.
Yeah.
But, and it's funny too, because just getting into podcasting, I love it. I don't see my life without it, but like when I was 15 and a guidance counselor asked me, what do you want to do? I didn't think about broadcasting. I didn't think about, being behind a mic. I didn't think that was far from anything that I thought.
I did.
So this was like a new discovery and also a bonus discovery because it was like, you know what? This feels really good.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
For me, it was like a passion that I forgot about. It was completely lost out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But you studied it, so you knew at some level.
Yes, I knew at some level. But then when I was studying it, I was so self-conscious, and I was really into the idea of being behind the mic, and then just being around other people. And I thought, oh my God, there's so much people who are so much better than me, and it really scared me. It actually scared me. So
with me, with the public speaking issue that I have, there was no way.
How can you do this?
I don't know.
Because there's not someone else. There's not like how many more people have to be in this room before you became intimidated to speak into the microphone?
I would be fine.
As long as it's in your basement.
Yeah,
you can,
I would be.
You can host comedy shows in your basement.
I think I would have issues if I was on a panel and there was an audience
like on a
staring
stage
at me.
doing this.
Yes.
Doing a live, yeah.
Yeah. Like here, like I can, because there's a lot more control that I have right now.
Out.
Right, you can just kill anybody else's mic. You can do that.
Exactly, I can
turn up the music and just out of here.
I can ban people from the chat room that are saying bullshit. I don't need you. So
you just see like a little empire.
I need to be in control. That's the issue. It's the fear of losing control, not the fear of public speaking.
I feel like as we're asking 18 and 19-year-olds to know what they're good at, who they are, and what they want to be for the rest of their life. And then you're talking about how you discovered later in life. For me, I never would have guessed, like,
No.
I mean, at some level, I wanted to get into acting and theater, and I'm actually not that bad at it. I don't have really any training, but I think the little work I have is good. So at some level, I knew performance was something I wanted to do, but you don't pursue that as a career. That's not no guidance counselor in the right mind is going to say, you should get into acting.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we're asking people, and then especially now where we're not only asking you to do it, we're putting a huge financial commitment into college, into something that you may not ultimately be very good at. It's scary. I worry that for my kids, I want them to have a little time to learn who they are and figure that out.
Yes, I agree. I'm surprised that my son just starting high school here, which is considered grade 7, junior high, really.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm surprised that now that at the first year of high school per se, that they haven't started to do some kind of talks or small classes where they take out the kids in small groups and start talking about their future, just to kind of give them some ideas.
But even such a young age to make that choice, I'd rather just like a general education, touch as many things as you can and see. And even then, you're not gonna really know until for me, I wasn't 30. I was 33.
Yeah. Life is meant to be lived. You know what I mean? Yeah. And were you talking about the Netherlands? How their school structure is?
Oh, did you hear about
No.
that?
When a child gets to grade 8, they can either look to pursue an academic career or they can look to pursue a trade career. And what they do is the government in the Netherlands knows what they need in terms of like social workers.
I think it's 16.
Right. Like things where it's like a trade, and then they will help you gear your education. If you're a kid who is not studious and is way more trade oriented, you're allowed to start pursuing that like right away. So you enter the workforce as a what do they call it? An apprentice?
Yeah.
At like the age of 15 16.
Yeah.
So you start your career at such a young age. So by the time you're 30, by the time you're 25, you can pursue a different career. You can say like, I have all this experience in this trade, but you know what? It's not me.
But can you pursue it, or are you so far in and so far away from starting over the new education in a different path that it becomes hard to jump tracks?
I think it's different when you look at like the age that they start that trade in, as opposed to like, because I went to college and I think I started that when I was 21, 22. I could have started it when I was 19, right after high school.
Yeah.
But even at 19, you put 7 years on top of that, and you're 26.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're 14, 15, you put 7 years on top of that, you're just over 20.
But it's such a young age to like know if like you guys have a son with learning disorder. I have a daughter with the same thing. Her grades aren't great, but I think at some level she could be an academic or something. But to make that to someone say, "Oh, your grades aren't great, you're going into trades," I'm like, it seems a little harsh.
It is.
I don't know if it's like that. I don't know if it's like, okay, you suck. You're gonna swing a hammer for the rest of your life.
Right. Well, that's what it sounded like to me. Like,
well, I think when
you're like doomed. We've given up on you.
Go change my tires.
Pick up my garbage. No.
But they used to do that in the olden times, where like a person who was a blacksmith, he would be training his kids from a very early age to
like
be
through
blacksmiths.
lineage. Yeah.
So once they were adults, they were fully functioning,
They've been doing it since they were 4.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they have the choice, though. I think when they reach, like, if they start the apprenticeship at 15, when they get ready to graduate, that's when they make a decision like, okay, what would you like to do? Do you want to continue in this apprenticeship or choose something else?
You're right. It's designed to be flexible.
Right.
Yeah.
Or do you want to go to university? But if you're going to go to university, then the requirements are very hard.
Yeah, the academic requirements.
They're very, very high. Like they take the cream of the crop, the best of the best.
Which is also nice, because I think at some level we are overeducated here. We spend a lot of money for degrees that you don't really need.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's like this college, and the colleges and university are making money, but to what end? Do the people really need to have a 4-year degree to do that job? It's like, probably not. You probably could get away with a 2-year degree or just on-site training. You don't. Especially in the States, like there's whole private colleges are hugely profitable, and people graduate with huge amounts of debt, no job prospects, it's just the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, and we just found out recently in Canada, the colleges and the universities are not tied into what the actual country needs in terms of
Right, they
resources.
should look like these are the
federal
jobs that need to be filled
Yeah.
versus,
Yes.
and this
And that's
is
what
we should incentivize people to go
Yes.
take these tracks.
And that's what the Netherlands does, is the government actually feeds the universities and the colleges and
Their predictions,
educations
right.
of like what we need coming up. We'll need this amount of mechanics. We'll need this
Right.
amount of scientists. We'll need this amount of architects.
Right, they've got really good
Yeah,
demographic
yeah.
studies.
And the difference is too is if you go to a trade and you get into an apprenticeship, then you start getting paid right away.
Yeah.
Like it's you start your job. Yeah.
Nice. Right, rather than you paying someone else and
Right.
accumulating debt.
Right.
You're
The way they described it, and I'm probably doing a really piss poor job explaining it, but it's a system that's meant to be sustainable. You know what I mean? It's meant to grow.
Oh, fancy that.
Right?
Yeah. Can you imagine?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so outside the
Systems
box.
designed to not collapse. Amazing. Yeah.
Are we working together here?
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Never heard of such a thing.
Socialist.
I know. Dirty communist.
Dirty socialist.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
As a kid, it was vanilla. And now I'm kind of getting into like these fruit flavored sorbets, like they're made like from real fruits. So,
Right.
Yeah. So maybe a raspberry or cherry.
Yeah.
I don't
Cherry
eat a lot of
raspberry
ice
sorbet.
cream. I don't know. My kids are really into it though, man. We spend a lot of money on ice cream.
Yeah. Our kids
Especially
are
now that it's getting
constantly-
warmer and the ice cream stores are open. Like, whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we usually take like a drive or something to like an ice cream shop that's
Yeah.
just down the street, and that's
Yeah,
where
but we can't leave without 4 cones and then 4 pints of their favorite. Like you gotta bring that home. It's all right. It's all good.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
10 being the coolest?
Yes.
Oh. What are we measuring? Just overall cool. Okay, based by my answer, I think I'm at a 2. At this hemming and hawing is not cool. A really cool person would be like, I'm an 8. Yeah. No hesitation. No.
What about your hubby? What coolest point would you
He is such a nerd.
He sounds
But like in a cool way. So I don't know. And like he knows karate, so like he's a nerd that can kick your ass.
nice.
So I don't
And we'll give you statistics.
He's cool. He's cool. He's pretty cool. Yeah. And like when I met him, he like drove a Ducati motorcycle and yeah.
That is pretty
and
cool.
he was like smoking cigars before that was cool. And then as soon as he became cool, he stopped. He was like, I don't want to. Yeah. He's like this edge. Yeah. And he's like into his Italian suits. So yeah, he's there's no mold for him,
Yeah.
He's like, he dresses well, but he hates people who are like into dressing well. And so, yeah, he's cool. He's a 9.
For me, I'm an 11. You?
Wow. I'd
That's how I
say
roll.
Off the charts.
wow. I'd say 7.
7?
Yeah. I'm at a 7. Yeah.
I disagree, but
Oh, do it. Let's go.
fight.
You should bet higher, right?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
I'm 20.
You're like at 9.5, maybe.
The other day we were at the comedy club to drop off some of these postcards for the show at the Comedy Nest, and it was before the show started, so I brought my kids with me, so I thought they may want to see 2 of them to see where I first performed stand up. And while we were there, they were helping me put the cards on the table, whatever. And one of the other comics, and I didn't hear it. They just told me afterwards. They said, "You got a really cool mom." I was like, that was like the best compliment I've ever gotten. It wasn't even to me; it was to my kids. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Wait, before you go, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
I gotta hit the washroom.
Ooh, washroom. I don't know why I said that. Hey, you know what? You can tweet me anytime at Shirasaurus. Like, Shira.
Oh, hey, if you want to get in touch with us, just Google Chonilla and you'll find us.
What song represents your life, would you say? That's a tough one.
It is. I'm so bad with song titles, and I'm like really into fun lately. Like there's songs that's just like an anthem, like it's just like something you can wake up to. But I like with my career choices, like the next cool band will also be my next favorite band. Like it moves around. But no, that's one thing I wish I knew more of. I wish I had a better understanding of music, the composition, and I did choral and band in school, but I never Now I wish I knew I could play guitar. I wish I had a better understanding of music history, or just even pop culture music. That's another area where my husband just like, he knows titles and bands and where they came from, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, you know. So of all the stuff that's, you know, current stuff he doesn't really care about. But yeah. So no, I'm sorry, I have a really bad answer. No, I don't know.
Do you think your husband will be willing to join us next time?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he'll have some good answers.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he'll tell you about how crappy my taste in music is.
And last, what advice did you get that was the most rewarding to you?
Oh, ever?
Anytime.
Oh my
Ever,
gosh.
anytime. Recently.
Oh. Wipe the toilet seat? I don't know. No.
What about from your mentor?
Oh, his advice is great. Like, you know, always be true to yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not, you know, that kind of stuff. But that's so technical. But in real life, though, I think that's why podcasts are great. I mean, we touched on this a little bit earlier. Like, we don't have to be fake, and actually being more real. That's what people want to hear. And so even outside of comedy, just be yourself, be true to yourself. And you're not all that, some of the friction and stress I found in my life before I started doing comedy just disappeared as soon as I realized I'm on that path, and I'm not successful. I'm not making any money from this, but I can see that I'm being happy and doing what I'm doing. Right. And 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 maybe it won't ever come anything, but maybe it will. And I'm on a path towards that. Right. And whereas my other job, there was just like, I didn't know it. You don't know it until you don't feel it anymore. Right. It's like sometimes wonder, what if we're all like in serious pain, but we don't know it because we've never not been in that pain. You know, like it's like you feel it, and that is true. Some people actually have huge amounts of pain, and until they like change their diet, they don't even realize that they were sick. You know, so
amazing.
Yeah, so I went like that was kind of my life before, and now coming out of that, like is that release and just being yourself and be true to who you're, understanding who you are. As hard as that is, and that takes time. And like you said, that's something you learn every day. Who am I today? You know, you never really know. So
it's nice to have people in your life that will give you that kind of like reminder, because it happens to us all the time where we're doing the show and then we'll get feedback from one person who didn't like this certain little section, and then we're like, okay, we got to restructure it. And it's like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, that means it's okay for them not to like that.
Yeah, right. Because all those other people didn't write in probably liked it.
Exactly. Podcasting, no news is good news.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
You get some positive feedback sometimes, but to expect it is, you can't really expect anything from the internet. It's like the internet is its own entity, and sometimes it's friendly, and sometimes, it's kind of a douche. So.
Yeah. Reading through comments on YouTube and stuff can be brutal.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how these huge celebrities do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, someday you'll know. Someday you'll be the huge celebrity, and you'll know how they do it.
Like, oh, no. So, Parental Dissension Advised Comedy Tour. Check it out. Again, the date was, I'm just going to double check here. Toronto is May 3rd, Ottawa May 4th, and Montreal May 5th. You can get all the details by visiting www.lifehysteric.com, all one word. Thank you, Kate, for being here.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We'll definitely put the links and
that would be great.
And where they can find you, and also checking out this upcoming comedy tour this week.
Yeah, this is this week. Yeah.
Are we missing anything else that you'd like to share?
No. Just the tour, and then get on the website, because other shows, appearances, they get posted to the lifehysteric.com site.
And what about Twitter? Do you have a Twitter account?
At Life Hysteric.
At Life Hysteric.
Yes.
All right.
Facebook, Life Hysteric. Yeah.
Nice. I like that branding.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No, you got to find the one, and it's got to apply all the way across. If not, you got to find a new one.
Yeah. Oh my God. We've got like Chonilla, DOT.com.
Some people,
it is what it is.
It, so. Anywho, but thank you.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome. I feel like we've known each other for like 100 years.
I know, right?
And I felt like I've been here for 200.
Soon we'll have hubby here.
Yes, the other side. Yeah.
Add that dynamic for sure.
Exactly. Thanks for listening, guys. You know where to find us. www.chonilla.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace. Shonilla.com is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, and free. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Go to Stitcher.com and download it for free today. Oh yeah, and we'd really appreciate a thumbs up.
Go to Cholilla.com.